Hello, this is Steve Holland, and I would like to welcome you to this conversation featuring exemplification. The title of this lecture is Unlocking the Secrets to Using Exemplification Effectively. What is exemplification? Where does it show up within the essay? Well, you'll remember that exemplification is most useful in giving support to the main idea of each paragraph. Most likely then it will show up in the main body. However, it can show up in the introduction and in the conclusion, but more times than not, you'll see it giving support to the main ideas within your main body. One way to use exemplification is to help you to describe abstractions. Exemplification is very useful for this. For example, how can you explain love, anger, honesty, friendship? We all say we know it when we see it, but one way to really effectively present that idea to another person is to give specific details through examples of what you saw and what you mean by such words. Therefore, it's a very, very useful way to bring concrete language into the essay. It is also very useful for clarifying your definitions. If you were to say smoking is a hazard, we probably would all agree with you. However, this phrase is vague. What do you mean by hazard? Well, you might say, well, a health hazard. Again, it still has an aspect of being vague. However, if you were to clear this up by giving concrete examples of how smoking has injured the health of your friends or family, it would be very, very useful. You could also perhaps give examples as to when you began to notice those health problems for your family and friends. Thus, you clarify these abstractions with examples. Examples also are very useful for adding interest to an essay. Providing examples based upon your own experiences makes the point that you're making livelier. It also helps the reader to consider his or her own experiences and how these experiences relate to your experiences. Examples are also very useful to support an argument. Good exemplification is extremely useful in making a persuasive case. It takes good examples to make a case for something. A researcher should see no end to the use of examples that can be used to support the claims made in a thesis. Examples are also very useful for testing a hypothesis or assumption. A person can make a claim, but with a strong example can support that claim. Keep in mind that someone who counters that claim can make another example, and if that person is making a very, very strong example, it's quite possible that the original writer of the hypothesis, must yield because the person arguing against that point has made a better supporting case through examples. How many examples do you need? Well, that's uncertain. Sometimes one very good example is all you need. And sometimes you only have one example. We like to have this set in our mind that we need 3 examples for anything. But that's only sort of a mindset, a way that we go about. We've been taught, handed down, that we have to approach a subject, give you 3 examples of everything. If you let that go, you'll probably be a better writer. What's more important than that is that your examples must be representative. For example, in this composition class that you are seated in, you probably will think, hey, I have the smartest class here, and I know that this class will pass everybody, and therefore I can say that my college has the ability to pass everybody through this course. That is, all the people who take this composition course will pass. Well, you might be able to say that for your own classroom, but you cannot say that for all of the other composition classes outside of your classroom unless you know that yours is a representative sample, which it probably is not. And finally, you want to be able to toss out poor examples. Nothing says that you have to use every example. You want to use your best ones. You want to use the ones that are most supportive of your claims. Keep in mind, though, just because something does not support your claim, that's not a good reason for tossing it out. And there you have it. There are some points for how to write an effective exemplification essay, or to use examples to make any other type of essay more effective. Thanks for listening.